Hello and welcome. Mamata. Pratap Singh joining us on NewsX. In another shocking incident in West Bengal, an 11-year-old was allegedly raped and murdered in South 24 Parganas. Angry villagers went on a rampage and torched the Kolkata police station following the discovery of the minor body near the riverbank. The minor had gone missing while returning from tuition. Accused allegedly tried to befriend the girl days before the incident and offered her ice cream and a lift on his cycle. The relatives of the victim alleged that the police neglected the matter when the father of the girl had gone to the police station. The police have arrested one individual who confessed to his crime. West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee promised justice and ordered the police to register Kolkata rape murder case under the POSCO Act and ensure the culprits get capital punishment in 3 months. Kolkata High Court meanwhile has directed a post-mortem of the minor at the Kalyani Ames. Moreover, BJP has staged a protest over the alleged rape and murder of the girl. The doctors in Kolkata also, continue to protest over the rape and murder of the trainee doctor at the RG Kar hospital. They say that their demands have still not been met. Joining us at this point is Abhishek Banerjee, columnist. Also with us is Nirmal Kaur, former IPS officer. Brinda Dige, women's activist, is joining us live as well. Dr. Adna Mukherjee from SSKM also joins us live. Welcome and thank you all for being with us today. Let me begin with you first, Nirmal Kaur. Yet another shocker being reported from West Bengal. The protests on the RG Kar incident have still not ended, and another incident now from Kolkata reported.
Yes, this is a very horrible case. You know, a minor girl, a very, very small girl, barely 10-year-old, and the thing is, there was some kind of pre-information. When he was trying to befriend the small girl, the father did go to the police and did inform that he's offering her sweets, toffees or whatever, and offering her a ride on his bike. But the police did not take any notice. I mean, was perhaps a preventable crime. It could have been prevented, but because of the lack of interest or laziness or apathy of the police, this crime could not be prevented, and the poor tiny girl had to lose her life. And this is also a kind of, this reflects the sad situation there, you know, when, you know, rape is like, you know, there's a minor girl getting raped at the drop of a hat. Everywhere there are rapes, and, you know, this is a lawlessness, widespread endemic lawlessness in the society. And that is, you know, it is a reflection of that. And for everything that is reported, there are many that are not reported. What is being reported is only tip of the iceberg. So you can kind of extrapolate and see what is the real situation. What is the wider perspective? How many rapes, murders, and such things must be happening? So the situation, law and order situation is very bad. Crime situation is very bad. And RG Kar hospital, again, doctors have ended their agitation in the sense that they don't want people to suffer, but in no way it is giving in to the coercive parts of the government. Hunger strike is continuing, and lots of new things have come up, like, you know, the students were being harassed there to join a particular political party, all kind of levy was being charged, extortion was being done, you know, all kinds of malpractices were there in RG Kar. And that is, I think today they threw out some people were asked to leave the hostel because they were all these widespread malpractices they were indulging in. I don't know where it will take us, but the situation seems to be out of control. Situation is not very normal. It is not, a middle class person in a day-to-day situation cannot conduct himself in such circumstances. A sense of security has to prevail before anyone can do out and carry on with their normal daily chores, which is not happening. Everybody is living in a fear, you know, fear of some mishap, fear of something bad happening, fear of, you know, that sense of security is missing. That is what is happening in the society. And that sense of security must be restored. Police, government, civic authorities, whatever, whoever has to come in, a sense of security has to be restored so that the day-to-day normal lives of citizens can be, they can carry on with their normal lives. Even now a group of students is on hunger strike. So let us see what happens. But definitely justice has not been done either to that girl, the doctor who was murdered about almost, I think, 1.5 months ago, and even this girl, and so many such incidents that are happening. So we need justice, we need a sense of security, we need a prevailing atmosphere where anybody can go out in the society and earn his living and carry on with their daily lives without this fear of crime hanging over their heads all the time like a sword of Damocles. That is what is required.
Absolutely. Brinda Dige, let me quickly bring you in here. Clearly, of course, law and order is failing in West Bengal. We are seeing incident after incident being reported. Again, in this particular case, it's a minor who has had to face this, horror, from, of course, a person who tried to befriend her and then assaulted her. What do you make of this particular incident, the details tumbling out, and this pattern, unfortunately, that's emerging from the state of West Bengal?
You're right, there is a pattern that is emerging from West Bengal, but we can also see similar patterns in other states and other cities also. Children and women's bodies are being weaponized to take revenge, to commit all kinds of atrocities. And like you mentioned, there's a lawlessness that one can see in West Bengal, and there is no fear of law. Nobody is afraid that the police will actually arrest them and that the court will actually give them some kind of a punishment. Now, when the father has gone and made a report and the police didn't take it seriously, they are reflecting the larger attitudes, because children and women are not taken seriously. If a child has gone missing, the police do not take it seriously, though BNSS is very clear that you have to register a zero FIR and you have to mention it in the station diary. None of this is being done, because police also is impunity, portrayal of impunity. Nothing is going to happen to the police. Nobody is going to register a case of dereliction of duty on them. They are happy because they probably are being supported by some politicians. Right now, when Mamata Banerjee says that she will give justice, she's the chief minister, she cannot give justice. Her job is to ensure that the state machinery functions, that every structure, every department does their job, which they are meant to do, for which they are paid. The justice will be meted out only by the courts. Now we want to ask the questions from the courts also. How long will they take if such a case comes up over there? When such a case comes up, will they punish the policemen and women who did not take this case seriously, which could have been avoided? Because we never see that kind of an action. And as long as there is no convergent action by the police, by the prosecutor and the courts, and of course the state machinery in general, we will continue to lose lives and have our children and women repeatedly raped. And politicians and bureaucrats will sit back doing nothing.
Okay, let me quickly take that across to Dr. Arnab as well, who's live with us, Dr. Arnab Mukherjee. Dr. Arnab Mukherjee, the doctors, of course, continue their protests. There is clear frustration, which is why they are resorting to a hunger strike as well. Dr. Arnab, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost him there. Let me get an Abhishek Banerjee. And at this point, Abhishek, outrage over one particular case not ending, and now you have protests erupting over this fresh incident.
Yeah, so there are these two separate cases. This second case, which has just happened, it is from South 24 Parganas. In this case, I believe the reason the villagers are so angry is because they are alleging that they went to the police previously with the complaint about this person. Apparently, they made an earlier complaint and the police basically did not take it seriously. Now, of course, the accused in this person, from at least from the reports that I have read, might have confessed to his crime. So his name is Mustaqin Sardar. Now, of course, I do not know if there is any kind of religious angle in this. I should be very, very careful to mention that, especially because we do not know, and probably it's illegal to give out the identity of the victim. Now, the thing is, they are worried. What is happening is that there is a general perception in Bengal that, particularly if there is an accused, the police, they know that the local administration is sort of complicit, or at least is close to, certain people. And then the police is sort of a little nervous in acting against them. So that's what I want to tell your viewers, where the particular anger in this South 24 Parganas case is coming from. It is because the villagers are saying that the police did not act on the initial complaint. So that is with the South 24 Parganas case. The victim happens to be only 11 years old. So this is extremely disturbing. Now, on the case of the Arjikar case, we have seen that the doctors, they are continuing their strike. But what I would say in this particular case is, what is now happening in the Kolkata case is that the second disturbing angle that is emerging is this constant effort by the communists to infiltrate these protests and act in a way that actually defames and makes the doctors' protest look disreputable in the eyes of the general public. We have to remember that the communist parties are part of the India Alliance, of which the TMC is also a member. So the interest of the communists lies in trying to actually discredit these protests. They have tried to infiltrate these protests with disgusting slogans like, so and so mange azadi and all. And so there is definitely an effort by the communists, who I believe are must be in cahoots with their India Alliance partners, is the TMC, and they're trying to make the doctors' protest look absurd. And the doctors are naturally worried about this.
Yes. Okay, let me, quickly take that, of course, back to Brinda DK as well. Brinda DK, the doctors have various demands. Which of those, according to you, are legitimate and which are not? Surely the state government should act. Don't you believe, doctors are the last people we want on the streets protesting and now actually going on a hunger strike?
You're absolutely right. Not only doctors, we do not want citizens protesting on the streets, asking for the state government, the state functionaries to do what they must do. And it has been over 45 days and nothing has happened. The promises made by the chief minister have not yet been fulfilled. Where is that safety that the doctors have been asking about? Where is that FIR? Where is the evidence? Where is everything that they are asking? So if this is not being extended, this is not being given, and the system and the structures are not working to make life safe and secure for the doctors, what else are they doing? What is the need for doctors to be there on the street protesting? After all, nobody is asking any charity. It is what promises have been made and what they are paid for. Now, if this itself is showing that the chief minister is only extending lip service, but there's no exercise of any of that as a responsibility that one can see in real time, then probably all of that just seems to be a lip service and nothing else. And so the confidence of the doctors is waning, is going away. And that waning off of the confidence also goes to show that there is no trust and confidence in the powers that be. It is time for the structures not to be afraid of any of the powers that be, any of the politicians or any of the business people. Make sure that the doctors are safe. Make sure that our children and women are safe.
Yes, Nirmal, come in here on what changes are needed. As far as, of course, the law and its enforcement is concerned, to ensure safety in West Bengal, of course, but also in other parts of the country.
I think anyway, the first premise is that rule of law is supreme. Rule of law has to, it has to be, that is the abiding thing. You cannot be a powerful person and there's a different set of laws for you. And if I'm a powerless person, there's a different set of laws for me. But law, policing, IPC, CRPC, the new BNS, all the acts, all the laws should be equal to everyone and treat all the citizens equally, which is not being done. Some are privileged in the eyes of law. Right from police to courts treat them differently. I mean, in West Bengal and as you said, in everywhere else, this should be the general premise that everyone is actually equal in the eyes of the law. If whether it's a powerful person committing a crime or somebody on the street, they should have equal outcomes, equal chances, equal legal aid, equal chances of coming out on bail, equal chances of being arrested by the police, equal chances of the case being followed up, case diary being written properly, the case being prosecuted properly, the courts hearing it properly, without any favor or without any fear. All the organs of criminal justice system, beginning from the police, prosecution, courts, they should be able to work fearlessly and they should deliver justice. As it is, as we say, even now the doctors are only demanding justice for the poor victim. And a group is on hunger strike demanding justice for her. But will she ever get justice? We don't know. Because 46 days have elapsed and nothing has really happened, nothing concrete. I mean, a lot of malpractices have been unearthed. Some token action here and there has been taken, but nothing really which will relieve the pain of a society, which is really, this kind of pain, where a young girl is lost and the highest qualified. Medical is such a noble profession. Getting in is so difficult. Studying medicine is so difficult. And she could have had a very bright career. And such a girl, self-made girl, the kind of background she comes from, totally self-made person. And if she doesn't get security at workplace, all of us are entitled to security at workplace, at home, everywhere, in all spheres of public life. But this girl did not get it, and so doesn't anyone. This poor 10-year, 11-year-old girl, she was raped, murdered, and thrown into a canal or something. This is what is happening to our girls. And this obsession with girl, a woman's body, a girl's body, virgins, all this, our society is getting more and more pervert every day. And maybe earlier also these incidents happened, but the kind of scale, large scale at which they are happening, that is what is alarming. They're always, 2% of the population, erratic, aberrant, psychopathic or whatever you can say, but that's barely always 2% of the population. But now that somehow these things have become very, very mainstream, you can say, very common, very mainstream, and nothing really, no eyebrows are raised if they happen, because this has become par for the course. That is what is happening. So I think the first and perhaps the only thing that is required is that law has to take its, rule of law has to prevail. Law has to take its course, whether it's a minister's son or anyone, any most powerful to the universe should come, but the law should. And the people in South 24 Paranas, when they are aware of it, why preventive action was not taken? Why that man could, some preventive section could have been applied. He could have been bound in some way to report to the police station every morning and evening. Some preventive action. So maybe he was a powerful person. Maybe he belonged to the TMC cadres, which is always likely the case. Whenever you meet a criminal in West Bengal these days, he is some big shot or some middle level person in the TMC cadres. So TMC cadre should not become a synonym for criminal. That is the thing. If anything, they are the ruling party. They have to behave more responsibly. More responsibility lies on them to maintain law and order and stability and security in the society. So I think definitely everything has to begin with police. Police has to treat everyone equally, not live in the fear of these cadres or criminals. I have not seen police living in such fear of the political cadres anywhere, which is happening in Bengal. The police are scared of the political cadre. Why? You have all the powers, the statutory powers, you have everything, and still you are afraid.
Yes. Okay. Let me, quickly go back across to Abhishek Banerjee as well. Abhishek Banerjee, of course, at the end of the day, these are shockers, but, the family of the victim claiming that the police did nothing. That is what makes it even more shocking. Here, reportedly, reportedly a complaint was made by the father of the victim. The police did not act. Even in the RG car case, of course, there were questions of a cover-up. And what the police was hiding in the beginning, of course, with the shoddy job that they did, but also trying to cover up what actually had happened to the girl, whether it was a suicide, whether the girl was, still alive, or whether she was dead. The parents were misled, as they are alleging. In fact, that is why they are also joining the doctors' protest as we speak.
Yeah, so that is the problem. That people in Bengal, they realize that almost every level of government is completely politicized. I mean, there is no distinction left between party and government. Even if you are in a hospital and it seems like the main doctor in the hospital, he is also very close to the ruling party. If you go to the local police station and try to lodge a complaint against somebody, you have to worry about whether this person is close to the party or not. So every level of the local administration, higher administration, everything, there is the difference between party and government has been completely lost. And this creates this trust vacuum in Bengal. But of course, the women's safety is a completely nationwide issue, and I do not know, and it is a problem of the country as a whole. There is absolutely no doubt. I may not be so much aware of other countries, but I do not know if there is any other sort of democratic country. One or two instances might be happening everywhere where, women have to, if they go out of their homes, they have to actually worry about some stranger, sort of trying to do something to them. This kind of thing. I don't know if it is there in any other sort of civilized or democratic country. So what we need some kind of system of a direct ministry, perhaps, of women and child safety in every state, and they can directly report these things, and they have to be prosecuted no matter who, under some kind of fast track court system, because this is genuinely a scourge on our country and it has to come to an end. We cannot become like, a superpower or third largest economy if this kind of thing goes on. And like I said, I do not know of every other country, but I do really doubt if there is any other civilized country in this world where women, when they go out of their homes, they have to worry about that, this kind of somebody will jump out of the bushes and do something and drag them away and do something like this.
Yes. Okay. Let me get in quick last comments now on what changes are needed, Abhishek. What would be your your advice on what needs to change actually on ground?
Yeah. So
in
that's
terms
what
of
I
the
said.
action taken by the government, also in terms of the law enforcement.
So first thing is we have to depoliticize law enforcement in this country. Police reform is long overdue. Perhaps at one level, I would say that it is important to increase the salaries of the police personnel, because, if they were not so poorly paid, so undertrained and so completely unmotivated, they would not fear, ruling party or whoever is has political influence. We have to stop that. Maybe we need to motivate our police forces that, they can act, they can take decisions. They don't have to be scared all the time. And then on top of that, as I said, perhaps in every state, we need a separate Ministry of Women and Child Security. I know there is a Women and Child Development Ministry of some sort in every state, but it has to be like a Ministry of Security, which will specifically look into this matter of security, because this is something that really needs to be solved right now. Because it is just, as I said, I don't think there is any other civilized country in the world where this kind of fear exists for average human on the street.
Okay. Your closing comments, Brinda DK?
Mentioned we need police reforms, but we also need prosecution and judicial reforms. And we know that there is a very strong nexus between politicians and the police. The colonial police mindset continues, and that has to break, and that has to be challenged constantly. But that said, we need to also understand that police getting their salaries, the vacancy being, fulfilled, all of that is a matter which is also the politicians have to make those budgetary allocations. And those budgetary allocations are not being made even at the union government nor at the state government. Though police is a state subject, we also know that the colonial police mindset, there is the IPS section, which is a cream section, and the other sections, and that divide continues. As long as that divide continues, we are not going to see the breaking and the shattering of that nexus, because this hierarchy is a colonial hierarchy. And we see the same thing in the judiciary also. We have laws that talk about fast track courts, but the judges have nothing, no qualms. When case after case, there is an adjournment and there is a tariq pe tariq, there is no punishment, no penal action taken. So judges are not held accountable, because that is another colonial mindset. So we want a judiciary and a police and a prosecution that suits our mother of democracies. For that, we need reforms, and that means the parliament has to work, and it has to work now.
All right. And last word to you, Nirmal Kaur.
I would say that all the suggestions which come in often, and as of today also, they are always top down, I mean, something has to be imposed on the society from top. Better laws, better institutions, better policing. We forget that these are all institutions are part of the society. We get the leaders we deserve. We get the institutions we deserve. Society has to change. I think the citizen character of a citizen, of a common, normal, average citizen, that needs to be built, made stronger. Lots of, we as a society, we are losing values. And with that, any amount of policing, or even you get a police force from heaven, that is not going to work. You get court from heaven, that is not going to work. You get prosecution, excellent prosecution people, that's not going to work. The bottom, the bottoms up approach should be stressed more. Of course, top down is there, but bottoms up. Citizens have to also smarten up. And the police, the present role of police often we see is protecting the criminals. Left to themselves, it is a well kind of, they are well capable of protecting themselves. But the police comes in to kind of advance the cause of the criminals, the aberrant behavior, the perverts. That should not happen. I think the agency theory, in my view, with my 40 years of policing, is that society is well capable of itself, except for the divides created by politics and by the
Yes.
section.
Okay, I
provided
think
by-
we're having some technical trouble there with your connection, but we've run out of time now. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast. Let's take a short break.